You can count on begins with a developing story out of South Carolina. The Department of Health and Environmental Control has confirmed the first case of the chikungunya virus in the Palmetto State. You're probably expecting a few guests this summer, but what if 50,000 visitors made a surprise stop at your place? Your debit card is very convenient, but even the smallest of debit card purchases can lead to a bank overdraft. Very, very nice and stylish.
Yeah, with all the lights in here, yeah.
And you help a great cause, but don't let the fun you're planning be ruined because of a car issue.
True or false, one dust storm can move up to 300 million tons of topsoil.
How fast is the storm?
That's a good question.
The smoke is from Burton Brothers Grinding and Mulch, and it is still going, but it is contained. So just take a look for yourself. According to the incident report, the woman pleaded with the suspect. She says he took her wallet, removed the money that was inside, threw the wallet on the ground, and put the money in a red pillowcase. This is what's left of that doghouse. I'm holding one of the many pieces of wood that's just thrown about the yard because those cars all had one thing in common. The doors were unlocked. I've been pouring through this incident report, and it goes into great detail, even saying the mother confessed to leaving her 9-year-old daughter at a park while she went to work. And coverage you can count on begins in Aiken County this morning, where there's a deadly crash that's under investigation. Police say 34-year-old Al Miller lost control of his car on Interstate 20 and crashed. We're told he was thrown from the car and was found dead. A passenger was taken to Georgia Regents Medical Center and it is expected to be okay. Investigators say excessive speed, drugs, and alcohol may have played a role in this accident. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow for a 2-year-old boy whose mother is charged with child cruelty. Richmond County deputies say Catherine Smith told them she sent her son Mason to a corner in his room to discipline him. Minutes later, she heard a thud and found the toddler on the floor. Smith says the boy had a syndrome where he holds his breath until he would become unconscious. No word on if the mother's charges would be upgraded. A man is in the hospital this morning and facing charges after he was shot in Columbia County. Investigators say Kenneth Newman Jr. got into a fight with someone at a home on Louisville Road. That's when the homeowner's son shot Newman. Witnesses say Dusty Headley, who you also see on your screen, was also involved in the fight. She's been charged with giving false statements and 2 counts of battery. No charges have been filed against the shooter. Several groups, including the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, joined forces to buy guns. It was part of an annual gun buyback program where anyone can turn in their unloaded gun with no questions asked. News Channel 6's Margaret Ann Carter explains why the program is important to the community. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office is looking for more possible victims of a man charged with impersonating a police officer. Investigators say 19-year-old Christian Laverius pulled over a woman by using sirens and flashing lights on his SUV. The woman told deputies that Laverius then yelled at her for cutting him off. Investigators believe he may have done this to others in the area. Now, if you believe he may have done this to you, please call the Columbia County Sheriff's Office at 706-541-2800. Time now 7:05. We're just a day away from finding out the 3 finalists hoping to become the next superintendent of Richmond County Schools. Tomorrow, the Richmond County Board of Education will hold a meeting to present those names. Board members spent 2 days last week interviewing potential candidates for the position. The new superintendent will replace Dr. Frank Robertson, whose contract was not renewed. The finalists' names will be announced at a meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock. An Augusta commissioner wants to get rid of part of Calhoun Expressway. Commissioner Bill Lockett has requested the commission consider removing the raised area of the expressway. Lockett says the stretch has a negative impact on the landscape and has kept away economic development. The issue is just one of many topics expected to be talked about during Tuesday's commission meeting. Another Augusta commissioner says the search for a new city administrator needs to continue. Last week, city leaders stopped the search for a new administrator after the candidate recommended by the mayor was not approved. But Commissioner Marion Williams says if one candidate was turned down, why is the city not looking at one of the other 2? Time now 7:08. Meteorologist Jason Appy's in the forecast center with a look at our first weather. And Jason, rainy yesterday, Are we having a repeat today?
Yesterday, it only got to 78 degrees.
Well, fingers crossed we get to 80. Neighbors say their tap water came out looking yellow with an odd smell. You may remember this happened back in April. The city passed out this boil water advisory days after the discoloration started. As some say communication with town leaders is hit or miss, the mayor wants people to know there is a plan in place.
Here we go again.
That's how David Singletary says he reacted to water problems in the town of Keysville. Singletary and his wife showing us bottles of water they saved after seeing discoloration last week. Each bottle from a different day, the color getting lighter, but they say there are traces of clay sitting at the bottom of those bottles.
It's just nothing I want me or my family to be drinking.
During our interview, Singletary's neighbor Jerry Couch took a shower outside because of the water issue.
I don't like it. I'm like everybody else. I don't like it, but you know, that's all I can deal with it.
The town is dealing with several broken water lines, including this one in front of the Keysville store. So I brought those concerns here to the municipal building to get some answers. City Administrator Eunice Siegel told me Mayor Linda Wilkes told her not to answer any of our questions and to call the mayor. So that's what I did.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
There was no answer, so we took our questions to Jeff Darley with the Environmental Protection Division.
So what is the issue?
The issue at Keysville is they had a drinking water well that had a casing compromised.
Darley says that means the well was pumping muddy water, but after some tests, the water is safe to drink. Neighbors like Singletary say they just want to be kept in the loop.
We have ongoing issue with our water, and it's something that everybody in Keysville knows about to some extent. They deserve to know what extent it actually is.
Now, just minutes ago, Keysville Mayor Linda Wilkes called me to explain the town is working on the problem and getting a new well that could be used as a backup. She explains there is an emergency plan in place if it is needed and that Keysville has enough reserved water to last 2 days. Well, this smoke is a result of wood being burned and then eventually turned into mulch. Take a look at it. Some more than 30 hours later, the smoke is still out here. It's died out a little bit since we were out here, but there are still spots in there where you can see flames still burning. But the owner, Roger Burton, tells me a change in weather caused more heat and the wood just started smoking. Now tonight, the Environmental Protection Division is investigating, and neighbors who live nearby say they just wanted to know what's going on. More than 24 hours after it started, the smoke from this wood pile can be seen for miles. Too close for comfort for Stephen Lewandowski.
I thought that gas station is back there was on fire, actually. It's real black. You can see fumes.
The fire coming from Burton Brothers Grinding and Mulch. The owner, Roger Burton, tells me it started Tuesday morning while crews were burning wood from February's ice storm that would then be used to grind into mulch. But a change in weather caused things to get too hot, and that's when the smoke started, causing problems for neighbors like Jared Del Rio.
Then yesterday, I kept going. We took our kid out to the back. He started coughing immediately. We brought him inside.
Outside, charred embers from the fire.
Just some charred stuff. I don't know what it is exactly.
It's kind of nerve-wracking because it makes me wonder, how much of that got into my AC vents, how much of that's going through my house, how much of that's, what if it was hot when it landed?
The smoke is now being investigated by the Georgia Environmental Protection Division. Jeff Darley with the EPD tells me businesses like Burton Brothers are not required to have a specific permit. State law requires 60% of its product to be recycled every 90 days, and no burning is allowed. Neighbors say they just wanted to know what was going on in their backyard.
There was black smoke all over the top of the houses, everything, so they should have said something to everybody.
It would have been nice to get a heads up what was going on, but I guess that's how things work.
And you're looking live at pictures of the smoke. Some flames still deep down in this, and I'm told the smoke will just burn itself out unless we get some rain. Now, the Environmental Protection Division says this business could face some fines up to $25,000 per violation. Live in Augusta, I'm Dion Guillory for WJBF News Channel 6. This is part of the video sent to us, only us, where a gust of wind just picks up chairs, a couch, and several other items and just throws them about. What some people think could be a tornado is believed to be something else.
Saw a gust of wind come up, looked out the door, and Chairs started flying everywhere.
Couches, tables, and other outdoor furniture tossed around by a thunderstorm in Burke County Monday evening. This is what it looks like now in Jason Blackburn's backyard. Couch pillows thrown against the fence, chairs now at the bottom of his pool.
We're a little scared. That's about it.
In this exclusive video, you can see the furniture is picked up and the gust moves over Blackburn's pool. His dog Ace runs to check it all out, while a house with Blackburn's other dog Cash is picked up by the wind.
Of course, our first thoughts were the dog that was in the little house and ran outside to check on him.
This is what's left of that doghouse. I'm holding one of the many pieces of wood that's just thrown about the yard. You saw in that video that the house was just picked up. Well, right here is where it was dropped off. And the question is, what caused all of this?
More than likely, it's what you call a gustnado.
News Channel 6 meteorologist Ed Bloodsworth says gustnados are rarely seen in the CSRA.
A lot of people mistake them for tornadoes, but there's no connection between that little ground swirl and the parent thunderstorm. It's just caused by an outward push of wind or a gust of wind out from the thunderstorm.
Blackburn's dogs are fine and no one was hurt. Now he waits for the insurance adjuster.
Once he comes and tells us go ahead, of course we'll get it cleaned up and get them put back in place, maybe something a little bit sturdier.
The National Weather Service in Columbia believes this is a gustnado, but they are still looking into the video. I'm told there are several variables here, including the clouds at the time, the direction of the wind, and the rain.